a very special talk today, granted by Dr. Kae Kawanishi. She is well known in our circles, in the circle of wildlife conservation in Malaysia. Dr. Kae is a wildlife biologist. Okay? She's also the general manager and the head of conservation for the Malaysian Alliance Conservation for Tiger, okay? Or more popularly known as MYCAT. So we have got also her staff who is part of MYCAT around. Maybe after the talk, some of you can get to know them. And she's here to, sort of thank MNS members and supporters for all these years of ensuring that this program continues to stay alive and making its impact in the Malaysian environment in that sense. Okay? So Dr. Kae has been a good friend for all these years. She's someone amazingly very, very focused, very, very passionate about tigers. It takes a foreigner like her, a Japanese, to be really passionate about tigers, more passionate than us about our cats and our dogs in that sense. Okay? And she has raised over US $4 million okay, over these years to support tiger conservation work in Malaysia. And a lot of this support comes from overseas. Okay? We would like to see how many of us who are in the corporate world or in institution and all that come forward to continue to support her good work and the people that she's training to take over. Right? So I shall not take more time, and I'd like to introduce Dr. Kae.
Thank you, Bernie. Thank you so much, MNS Selangor branch, for hosting this talk. I know it's a lot of work just to even prepare and organize, and I know the work that was done by volunteers, and we really couldn't have done it. This year I really made a decision to make time to thank people and let you know what work, the volunteerism, the work that you have done, how it helped the wildlife. So I love Malaysia for its wild nature, and I define wild nature as wild things in wild places. I have been to other tiger habitats. I have been to many beautiful places on Earth as a biologist, and Japan is a beautiful country in rural Japan, but nowhere else except maybe Russian Far East. I feel the energy of wild things. I love Malaysia for that. And in my part one, I want to explain why I kept doing this, why tiger matters to me, and the feeling that you have in the forest, just a bit that you experience now. It doesn't have to be a tiger biologist to really fall in love with Malaysia's wildlife, right? You all know what it's like to be in the forest. That wildness, the tiger to me is the ultimate expression of wild nature. And that's what I love your country for. I moved to Malaysia in 1998 to estimate Taman Negara tiger population and its carrying capacity. But I was here in Malaysia for the first time in 1995, meeting with PERHILITAN officials like Dr. Shiba and just me, and also WWF Isabel Lewis that time. My question to them was, no, I want to come and do a PhD, what would be my project? That was not my question. My question was, I have these skills and talents and interest. What can I do for Malaysia's wildlife? That was my question. Because 1995, I finished my master's project. That was in Taman National Park in Central America. I was using camera trap to study the impacts of ecotourism on their big cats and other wildlife like jaguar, puma, margay, ocelot, jacaranda. So this project was considered impossible. My PhD project was considered impossible by some big cat biologists. A tiger population study in roadless rainforest was never done prior to 1998. So once again, I was a pioneer. And my professors, they even said that I might not have a large enough sample size to write up my dissertation. But again, getting a PhD was like a secondary benefit of doing this research. And Malaysia needed this study to know how many tigers are in Malaysia's biggest national park for tigers and what is the carrying capacity. And one of the things that the PERHILITAN ranger, because I work with the best of PERHILITAN rangers, unit Harimau Pahani, unit Harimau Taman Negara assisted this work. They said, Kae doesn't complain. And I didn't realize that until they said, but I didn't whine. I didn't want to whine because I was the female, smallest, weakest. I wanted to be strong. The goal of the game was survival. If I'm done with today, I'll be okay. But tomorrow is another day. And this game lasted for grueling 34 months. It was supposed to be 18 months, but at the end of 18 months, year and a half, I didn't have enough sample. So I have to continue going first. So I went through a hard time, but the wild nature really healed me, and I believe you've had similar experiences and why you care so much. I became a conduit of the expansive all. Do you know what it means? I have a hard time explaining this because this feeling, this emotional, spiritual response to wild nature is not something that like you think in the head. It's just a feeling that you get. And we have a perfect word in Japanese language to explain, which is not awe. Awe is another word. This is an eichi. Eichi is the infinite wisdom within, which is connected to eternal cosmic consciousness. So tiger, to me, is the wildest thing. It's an ultimate expression of wild nature. It's not so much that tigers that I love. Tiger conservation is really not that tigers per se, because there are like 20,000 tigers in the zoos, zoos and private collections. So tigers will not go away as long as humans are around. But this wild nature that is disappearing, it is scary. And this is why I'm doing what I do. And the disappearing tigers represents the ecosystem in crisis. And due to climate change, I think people can really feel the imbalance of nature. The losing of tiger is just a small piece of the collapse, ecological biosphere, spherical collapse that we are experiencing, which is closely tied to collapse of economy and society. I wrote up my dissertation in 6 months. 2001, I was out of the forest. In 2002, I finished my PhD. And immediately I started volunteering with PERHILITAN because my project was not possible without rangers, PERHILITAN rangers, who probably saved my life many times without people being knowing. And they're the experts who taught me the way of tigers in Malaysian rainforest. So I wanted to give back to PERHILITAN. So MYCAT was officially initiated by Wildlife Department, PERHILITAN, to bring NGOs and government together, because I was part of the PERHILITAN. Yeah, so Dr. Loh was representing MNS that time. And after so many years, I'm the last standing co-founding member of MYCAT, but I'm so glad to see Dr. Loh today with us, with me. People really came together. It's not for me, it's for tigers. You help
You ask for help, they help. And that's the same that I see with the members of public. There are so many people who want to help, but they don't know how. You give an avenue and they will help. So as a conservation biologist, I had the privilege to witness, study the decline of tiger population. Privilege or not, I do feel privileged to be living in Malaysia in this time. There are so many things that are happening, and loss of ecology is one. And catwalk began. Catwalk is the deforestation surveillance walk done by volunteers. And we have been doing that since 2010, except for the 2 years of hiatus COVID. I remember Taekwondo from the early days as well. It started out with, because I have to move on. And my plea to the working group members, MYCAT, was, what can we do? Because culture is going to start. I'm already seeing hundreds of snails out, even when we're there. And Chris Shepard said, Kai, you have to put people on the ground. It can be just birders. It doesn't have to be enforcement. And it was so true. MNS Mango birders, nature guys came. Pasu, Ashley started catwalk. We didn't even have like a structure or certification started, training started in 2013, but it's just the volunteers because they care. They knew what they can do. They came on weekends and just keeping the eyes out while I was moving on to Taman Negara side. So catwalk is essentially a hiking, trekking, and a Sengayu corridor. Otherwise, do not get any recreational tourists because they're really just forest. But it's also an ultimate way of education. It's an ultimate outdoor education. So I would like more Malaysians to come for catwalk. We've done it. Shout out to catwalkers. I didn't do it. We just facilitate people who want to help wildlife. So yeah, Tekwin, you were the early catwalker. And Harrison too. 55 members, 55 MNS members have come. MNS members or their affiliates have joined catwalks. Thank you all for coming. I think this is the recent ones. This is the recent photos. I hope more will come and join this program. And of course, we couldn't do catwalk without volunteer catwalk leaders. The catwalk basic, led by volunteer trained and certified volunteer catwalk leaders. And I would like you to give a big shout out to volunteer catwalk leaders. Today will represent and you guys have been doing it since 2014, 2013, 2014. You know this saying, there are 100 people. If there are 100 people who want to do something, only 10 people will do it, actually. 90 will just talk about it. True? Yeah? 10 will only do it. But of 10, one person is the one who keep doing it. Because it's important to her or him. And that's them. It's easy to be excited at the beginning. Oh, catwalk, something new. But keep doing it. They're so tired of walking the same routes. But because they see the benefit to wildlife and forest, just us being there, we've stopped the illegal and legal deforestation as well. And the benefit to humanity, benefit to people who come on catwalk. So, other questions are, what can I do? Well, the answer is quite obvious, isn't it? Join on a catwalk. Register for a catwalk. And you don't have to be a super hiker. We have catwalkers volunteers from Singapore who have never walked in proper forest. I mean, to them, forest is a boardwalk. So if you and really like Alex, the other catwalk leader, was telling us last week that people in 40s, 50s, 60s have better feel of where they're walking than the younger ones. True? Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. So anyone can come if you are healthy, mentally, physically healthy. You don't need to be able to trek like 10 kilometers. Not like that. It's like a stroll, an easy, slow walk. And if you don't want to be mixed with the other group, you can come up with your own group. We can have an exclusive catwalk. No, we can do that for MNS Lango committee members, perhaps, with exclusive catwalk. So these are the days that are available. If you search catwalk for tigers, you can easily find us. Google search catwalk for tigers. Slides. I want to recap my talk today. If you can remember 3 take-home messages, only 3 things that you can remember. These are the things that I'd like you to remember. Number 1, I want you to remember those who came on catwalk, those who somehow helped MYCAT over these years. It's really hard to see how wildlife return. It's not like they can come and say, oh, hello, thank you for helping me. No, it's just so brilliant. But you made a difference. You see the data now. You made a difference. Now I want you to remember that. People can make a difference. It's hard to see. If you just come on one catwalk one weekend, you probably don't see any sign, and you're probably not going to see snares, because that's now the rate of seeing snares is very low. But your presence itself is a deterrence, and you made a difference. I want you to know that. And hope is cheap. I don't want you to just hope. Oh, I hope somebody else will do that. Right? I mean, you see the glimpse of hope that what you can do, but what we desperately need, not just for wildlife, no, environment, society, nation, is courage. Courage is a resolve to do what is right. Keep doing what is right thing, without an assurance of happy ending. When we started Catwalk, we didn't know this is what we are going for. We just did it because it was needed. And people kept coming on. We kept building on the wildlife data. Wow, wildlife really is coming back. Now I want to bring back forest. It just organically grew back. Courage is a resolve to keep doing the right thing without having an assurance of happy ending. And the last, it's a jungle out there. This is what my daughter used to say. I go 2 weeks in, Taman Negara, come back 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks back home, I was not resting. I was analyzing data, getting ready for the next field work. But she was so happy to see me back. And that time, driving a huge Land Cruiser back in the 70s. It was like a boat. I don't know whether you remember back in this Land Cruiser. It was all gone from those, yes? She would climb up on the top of Land Cruiser, and then she would say, hey, mommy, it's a jungle out there. You need to get yourself out. And not only that, the best thing that MNS can do, and MNS members, listen to me. The best thing that MNS can do for wild nature is not to come on catwalk. I mean, it's great if you can come. Is to get people outdoor. Start young. This outdoor education is so important because I can see the common thread among people like me, tiger biologists in WCS and WWF. They all spend time out there, jungle, when they were young. So the love for nature was, nurtured when they were young. And by making mistakes, breaking their legs, they learn the limit, what they can do and cannot do. So MNS, please keep doing what you do the best. Not education in the classroom, get people out there in the jungle. And great if you can find a cat. Thank you.